Hey guys, how's it going? Here's my research on teenage smoking to help us come up with an intervention to try and reduce it. Firstly, I got a bit of background research on teen smoking. So, 40% of smokers in the UK started before their 16th birthday. I found this quite surprising as it's such a young age for a large percentage of people to start becoming regular smokers. But even more interestingly, 9 out of 10 adults started smoking before the age of 18. This shows how important it is to counteract teen smoking, as it is the main age smokers start. If you can reduce teen smokers, you greatly reduce the amount of adult smokers, as adults are far less likely to start smoking than teens, as they have outgrown their rebellious teen spirit. So, from my background research, I found out the most common reason teens start smoking. This is so I could base my objective around counteracting teen smoking. The most common reason I found for teens to start smoking is peer pressure. This is because teenagers strive to fit in with their peers. Teens that have 3 or more friends who smoke is 10 times higher than those that reported none of their friends smoke, which is a huge amount, and shows how easily teens are influenced by their peers. Teens are also more likely to start smoking if their parents are smokers, as smoking would have been normalised for them, and parents are role models to their kids, so they are more likely to copy their behaviour. Teens also see smoking as a way of rebelling and showing independence, which is part of growing up to rebel against your parents. From the secondary research I compiled, I created Kyle, a pen portrait of the target market for the intervention. Creating Kyle helped me sift through the secondary research I had collected and work out what was important traits of teens who might start smoking, so we can target our intervention more precisely. Kyle is a 15-year-old who doesn't want to be left out by his friends, wanting to try new things. He is interested in common things for a 15-year-old boy to be interested in, and his friends smoke. From my background research and the creation of Kyle, I wanted to explore what would prevent teenagers from starting to smoke. So the objective for the primary research was to discover how people start smoking and their opinion on what would make them stop. This means that I will be aiming the intervention at young teenagers who already smoke, and how we can change their behaviour so they don't continue, so they don't influence their friends to start smoking. The people I interviewed were aged 20 to 23, which was not my target audience, but they had all smoked, and as they were older I asked them what they thought about why they thought their young selves smoked, getting a more honest opinion rather than asking teenagers which may not have been willing to admit why they smoked. I selected my interviewees by choosing people that I already knew smoke, so I could get the best feedback from them. For my primary research, I decided to conduct interviews. From interviews, I would be able to get more personal insight from people rather than surveys. Also, because of the questions I would be asked would be of a personal nature, I would be able to see how the interview's body language to gauge what they were thinking. In total, I conducted 4 interviews. Each interview averaged about 8 minutes. In the interviews, I based my questions around when they started smoking, why they did, their feelings around smoking, and what would make them quit smoking. From this, I bounced other questions based upon the responses, so I could get a clear understanding on their viewpoint on teen smoking. I conducted all of my interviews on the 12th of the 3rd, 2019, on a university campus. I did them all on the same day, so I could clearly remember what questions I focused my previous interviews on and keep on topic. I was limited by the amount of interviews I conducted, as I did not conduct a huge amount of interviews, so I did not get a large range of viewpoints from my research. I was also limited on the type of questions that I was asking. This is because they were questions that people may not be honest about, as they are personal questions, or they may not know the answers, such as I asked them what would make them quit smoking in the future, but no one could presume what they are going to do in the future. An ethical consideration that I made is that I got verbal consent to interview them, use their names and use the interviewees in my research, but in hindsight I should have got them to sign a release document to cover all my bases. When I completed my research, I transcribed it and highlighted key quotes. From this I started to see that the interviews had some very similar things. They had very similar experiences in how they started smoking, the reason behind it, and why they would stop smoking, or had already stopped smoking. One consensus I have made is that all of them had already got friends that were smoking before them, such as Rob said, my friends were already smoking. This links to an idea that peer pressure is a cause of teen smoking. Also that they thought smoking looked cool. In one of the interviews, Millie said, thought it looked cool. Most importantly, they all had a base reason for stopping. The reason they would stop smoking is that it is very expensive. It seems at the age of teenagers, they care more about money than the health risks. Hugh says it's expensive when asked why he would stop smoking. From this information, I created a word cloud to clearly see what their main thoughts were about how to change the behaviour of teens smoking, using key quotes from the interviews and words they kept repeating. From this you can clearly see that the word expensive came on top, with other words coming up big such as money, cost and unhealthy. What I found surprising from the word cloud is how clearly the idea of money and how much tobacco products cost comes up more than the health concerns. From finding out that the main idea from the word cloud is the price of smoking, I looked into how much smokers are spending on tobacco products. From this I learnt that on average most people who quit save around £250 each month. That's nearly £3,000 a year going up in smoke. And the NHS website, the sponsor for the implementation, already have a cost calculator to work out how much you are spending on cigarettes a week and how much you would save if you quit. From my primary research, I can clearly see that the main reason teens would stop smoking is cost. This is shown through my interview process, the fact that people cared less about their health when asked why they would stop smoking and more about the cost of smoking. Teens are well known for thinking that they are indestructible and not thinking about the future, but they are clearly thinking about their bank balance and would rather be spending their money on other things. Also, from the word cloud I created, you can see that words around the topic of money come up far more larger, meaning within my interviews these words came up more, showing how my interviews have a focus around money, around smoking. Thank you for your time and good day.